an old office that I worked at, there was a client that I was working with here in La Habra, and the client was looking at a property. Come to find out that the listing was with the agent in my office. So I figured, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give this guy a call and see what I can find out about this property, because at the time, as we all know, it was difficult to put offers in on properties and even get answers back. Most of the listing agents weren't even calling back, right? And so I gave him a call, and he gave me the normal spiel about I have 20 offers on the property, and it's going to be difficult to get me in there. We'd have to offer above the asking price, right? So I was like, come on, what's the real scoop? Most of these agents are taking control of some of the situations. I would put out offers on properties all the time and never get answers back from the listing agents. I mean, is that your experience, Alonso?
Well, I think in today's market, that's what's happening, Alex, is that, if you're pretty much a listing agent, you pretty have the advantage of the market. I mean, a property is scarce, and the game now, I believe, is trying to become a listing agent and trying to, sell your property, because even though there's a lot of inventory on the property, there's a ton of buyers that are willing to buy. And like I said, if you're the listing agent, then you're in a dominant position of whether to dictate where the transaction is going.
Yeah, and they want to double end these properties, right? They want to double end them, and that's where the listing agent, it represents the buyer and the seller.
Well, yes, and that's the way it happens now in today's market. I mean, because there's, like I said, there's tons of buyers out there. So if you have a listing, you're pretty much going to give first dibs to your buyer. And I believe that's what the game is now, Alex. I mean, trying to become a listing agent and be on that end of the scoop.
Yeah, and what kind of causes that? We talked about this earlier. Is the inventory, right? The inventory in the market right now is fairly low, and it causes for a seller's market, right? And for the most part, a lot of the banks are bottlenecking their inventory, right? I mean, that's a story anyway that they're given. And
not to change the subject, but our topic today was short sale. Was that what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually leading up to that.
Okay.
I mean, what's wrong with people? I mean, right now they're talking about post recovery, right? Economic recovery. What's wrong with people? Back in the mid 2000s, somebody would tell you that, hey, if you sign this paper, you can buy this property. But they didn't stop to think for a second that, hey, maybe can I afford this payment? Were you going to say something, Tenme?
Well, not to that point, but with regard to the inventory, it's interesting what's happening, and I'm going to go on a short little rant. What's happening in a nutshell is that all of the hedge funds are now basically creating a monopoly, short monopolies on all the inventory that the banks are trying to get rid of. So they're coming in there, they're buying massive amounts of toxic loans and agreeing to not sell the property for a couple years. So they're going to rent them out. Well, what they're doing next is they're going to securitize the rental proceeds the same way they securitized the mortgage loans, right? Mortgage-backed securities. These are basically going to be rental-backed securities. And they're creating basically a new bubble that's going to burst when the interest rates start to go up. Well, what do? Banks make money off loans, not properties. They're not in the real estate business, right?
Right.
They're going to make money off your money business. So what's happening is that is the cause of the bottleneck. And when those properties get released, if they decide to release them, who knows where everyone's going to be positioned, and all the equity that's supposedly out there that investors are buying is again going to fall prey to that bubble. So
you're talking about investors doing that. You're talking about
that's what's happening. Exactly that. There's there's hedge funds out there that just come in and buy $1 billion worth of toxic assets at a time and then hold that inventory. So anyway, that's that's upstairs. That's where it's starting.
Well, Tenme, I think that we're talking about a whole other show here, but
yeah.
But let's talk about now how the money, okay, or the investors is actually now taking advantage of the situation, right? And ultimately, which is falling on the back of the consumer, right?
Exactly.
I mean, the consumer now in the position that we were put in by the lending practices of the banks in the mid 2000s, and quite frankly, it was even before that, right? Now we're put in a position of having to short sell our homes. Right?
For all the listeners that don't know out there what a short sale is, Alex, can you collaborate a little bit and tell us what a short sale is about? Explain to us a little bit what.
The first time I heard the term, I think was in the late 80s, and probably the beginning of the 90s. I remember it being a slang term. It's a short sale. I think it was invented by agents or listing agents, right? Ultimately, which is a forgiveness of debt for the banks, right? They're saying, hey, our house.
For example, there's a house for $400,000, and it's now worth at market value. It's worth $220,000. So then the banks are deciding to take a loss for $180,000.
Well, they're not deciding to.
Well, it's actually the way the market is
request.
dictated. The market is dictating. Now the house is only worth that amount.
Exactly.
So then they're going to take a deficiency on that loan. So that is what the term short sale comes out to be.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what they're calling it, right? I mean, that's the term. I don't know that I've ever read that in a real estate book, right? I mean, maybe there is now short sale forms that we use. The California Association of Realtors has forms that we use to advise and disclose to our clients what a short sale is and how. Because it can go different directions, and actually, that's why we brought you in today, Mr. Tanmay.
And also, there's my understanding. There's some particular things that you need to have on a short sale in order for them to be accept a short sale.
Yeah, I mean the borrower has to qualify for a short sale, right?
Which some of the qualifications are like loss. I mean, I know that there has to be what do they call it? They have to have a financial hardship on it.
Maybe you're furloughed or you're you just got laid off.
Loss of employment, reduced hours, divorce, increased bills.
Yeah.
So there's a whole list of topics that needs to be.
Basically, ish happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else. Let's call it like you buy a stock, okay? You have to be able to stomach the market. I mean, I think the financiers of mortgages understand that. The market is cyclical. It goes up and down, right? So
very good point.
If you're not stomaching the market, why should the banks take the loss, right? I mean, that's how they see it. So a borrower comes to them and says, "Well, we're right now we're in the valley of the market, right? On the up and down market, we're in the valley of the market.
Sure.
So why should the bank take the loss? That's their position. Well, the government steps in and says, "Well, we're going to bail you guys out of this financial situation, right?" And the homeowner now is in a position where they're saying, "Wow, I bought a house for," and the example that you gave earlier, $400,000, right? And now it's only worth $220,000. I don't want to make my payment anymore. That's what they're thinking. But the real world issue here is that they're supposed to make their payment because they signed a contract, right?
Yes.
They signed a contract with the lender, and the contract says that they need to pay this back, right? So now they're and earlier you talked about the short sale where the bank what is the word you used that they are accepting a short sale? Not necessarily, they can easily foreclose on the property. They don't have to. Do a short sale if they don't want to, right? The borrower has to get approved.
And there's nothing short about the process, is my understanding. They take how long do they do those?
Well, exactly. It takes. I had one that lasted 8 months, right? So anyway, to our listeners, if you have any questions, comments, or if you have a beef, you can call us at 855-693-4897. If you're watching, it's on your screen again. 855-693-4897. You can call in and give us a question or comment or tell us how much you like the show, right? In terms of now our requirements, right, as real estate agents, because I am a licensed real estate agent, and actually Alonso is my broker, right? We have certain requirements as agents to now disclose to a seller of a property, right?
Right.
These are alternatives to short sale, and these are things that we have to talk about, right? The first alternative is loan modification, and we'll kind of go into that a little bit. Loan modification means that, borrower usually will go in and apply with their lender and try to get their loan modified to the current rates, meaning the current interest rate and also their home value, right? Again, it requires qualification from the bank. I mean, my experience with most borrowers is that they try it and they got rejected or declined, and what didn't happen. And if they did get a loan modification, right? If they did get one, it wasn't that good. Like sometimes they even raised the amortization to 40 years or something like that, right? So it wasn't really,
or the amount of the payment actually went up by a couple $100.
Wasn't really a thing. We will be taking a break. We need to pay the bills.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more Real Estate Rant.
TheTicketSurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4-199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. TheTicketSurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4-199.
Are you watching the game at home? Why? Come watch it at Mambo Grill, the hottest spot in Downey. You'll have good food, drinks, and a great time at a low price. We have the coldest beer in our sports bar, where you can enjoy the game on any of our huge flat screen TVs. And when your home team wins, you get 25% off anything in Mambo Grill. We're on Downey Avenue, 1 block north of Firestone, or visit us on the web. Mambo Grill, love at first bite.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on RantRadioNetwork.com.
We are the Three Guys Rant with Arvin, Mike, and Phil. Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69 The 3 Guys.
It's not the 3 guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's. The other one's illiterate.
You really should listen in. You never know what's going to happen.
855-69 3 guys. G-U-Y-S and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
Hi, I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez.
And I'm Kelly V. Dolan.
And we are excited to announce our show Live with Aaron and Kelly is on Rant Radio Network. What do we talk about on our show, Kelly?
We talk about everything from entertainment to business and tech, and we have a few laughs in between.
That's right. Go check us out on RantRadioNetwork.com. That's RantRadioNetwork.com.
Check it out.
Hi, everyone. This is Dawn Garcia, and I'm your host of A Taste of Dawn Radio, a show about discovering the passions, the sexy, and the moments we're savoring. Tune in for live music, celebrities, inspiring visionaries, and everything in between. See you every Wednesday on Rant Radio Network from noon to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And remember, live life well.
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alaniz,
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problem, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. And we're back. We finished up with loan modification on the first half of the hour. Again, if you call in with a question, comment, or a beef about a real estate transaction, you can call us at 855-693-4897. That's 855-693-4897. I'm here with my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez, and Mr. Tan May. Welcome back. I wanted to cover the alternatives to short sale that we are actually required as listing agents to talk about on when we're discussing it with the client. The second alternative was foreclosure. The first one was loan modification, but foreclosure is an obvious one. You just walk away from the property. Hopefully you don't leave too much stuff behind, right? But and break things and steal things, right? But foreclosure is the obvious one. I think most understand what that is. The second one is a deed in lieu, and actually that is a term that I think a lot don't know about. Deed in lieu pretty much is
giving back the property back to the bank is my understanding, right? We're just giving it back and walking away, and they're taking it.
Ultimately, that's what it is. They're signing it over back to the bank, deed in lieu of foreclosure.
What are the ratifications on the credit consequences regarding the deed in lieu?
On a deed in lieu, I believe it's just like a foreclosure.
Okay.
They're still taking a 5-year hit on their credit, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but that I do believe that's what's happening there. And then there's bankruptcy. You can always file for bankruptcy. And bankruptcy, is a legal issue taken up with the courts and also with the banks, the way the banks handle that. And I do believe that's also a 5 to 7 year hit on your credit, right? So those are the requirements that we have as agents now to talk with our clients when they're selling a property. And
so before we can take a short sale listing, we got to give them those and explain to the client, that those are their other options that they have.
Yeah. Well, back to the story that I was telling you about the old office that I was working in. I was talking with this agent. He's telling me, he's got 20 offers on the property. And, he doesn't want to call me back. The inventory is low right now. And a lot of people are using that alternative to the short sale alternative, right? So they're listing with their agents. And a lot of these agents are double ending their properties, not really giving the opportunity to the open market to bid on the property, and ultimately becomes an issue for the agent, right? To try to make additional monies on a sale, right? Is that fair, Alonso?
Alex, you got to look at it both ways because sometimes, like I said, there's a big pool of buyers right now. So like I said, I go back to the saying, if you're the listing agent, you're in the game right now because you're actually dictating who you want to give the property to. And as long as you're giving, the highest and best offer to your client, because remember, we're going back to the clients, what the client needs. We're not out trying to make a buck for ourselves, which in the process, we do end up getting a slight good amount of commission. But that's not what the alternative goal is.
Yeah, we sign a contract with the client. We have a fiduciary responsibility to the client to put that property up on the open market and give the best possible service to that client. And I don't believe listing agents are doing that. They're not doing that. If they're not answering their phone calls and they're not answering offers, sometimes I put out 15 offers on different properties and I don't get one phone call or email back.
But in the other turn, you put up a listing, and how many phone calls do you get?
Well, right now, I have a listing in Whittier. I probably have easily 75 inquiries from all of the free websites.
Wow.
Right? There's easily 75 inquiries on that property, not to mention the folks that have called me on that property. There's some agents that call, and I answer their phone calls, and I service them just like I would everyone else. In that particular situation, it's not my decision. Agents have to understand that it's not their decision. It's the seller's decision what they're going to do with that property and who they're going to sell it to, right?
And our job is to present each and every offer that comes in through the table. But are some agents doing that, Alex? Honestly, true?
No,
I don't think so.
They're not doing that. That's my beef, right? That's my beef. As a buyer's agent and a seller's agent, right? My beef is that listing agents are doing what they call a pocket listing on a property, right? And they are not responding to buyers' requests on offers. It becomes difficult. I just wanted to mention something here that I read. Not to change the subject, FHA is changing their guidelines for case numbers after June 3rd. And I'll just read this verbatim. After the FHA changes come into effect on June 3rd, most home buyers with the case number after this date will have to pay mortgage insurance. And it says for the life of the loan.
Wow.
Right? So it's not 5 years anymore like most people, well, how do we remember the guidelines to be, right? And there's a little unless, right? They put a down payment of more than 10% according to mortgage letter 2013-4. And for the agents that are listening want to reference this on the HUD website, it's mortgagee letter 2013-4, and it's issued by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. This came out January 31st. And so just to put it in layman's terms, and again, I'm reading this verbatim, this means buyers will have to either put down more money up front or face paying mortgage insurance over the life of their loan, right? This is pretty sad for the people that were thinking they were going to buy a house for 3.5% down, right?
Yeah.
Even some of the programs where they talk about mortgage or down payment assistance, less than 0.5% down, right? All this would apply, right? So anyway, that's that. If you want to reference that on the HUD website, I believe it's
Thanks for that, Alex.
hud.gov, right? That's just something that came about. Mr. Alonso, shall we go into
our segment of question and answers for any of you viewers or listeners out there that want to call in and let us know what your concerns are in real estate topics? We're here to, our phone lines are open. Be sure to give us a call here at 855-693-4897.
It's 855-693-4897. Give us a call and give us a comment, question, or beef. So, Mr. Alonso, do you have a question for us?
Well, there's several questions that I had from several listeners that called in earlier, and they had asked, one of the question was, what is the lease option?
Okay. And what is a lease option, Mr. Alonso?
Basically, what a lease option to me is that you're leasing a house with the option to buy.
Okay. And you know what? I've always seen that as a scam, right? I know a lot of the lease people are gonna call and scream at me, but that's okay. If you cannot buy a house, right? There's a reason for it. Usually, it's because you can't get approved for a loan, right? And there's a certain segment of the real estate society, if you will, and these are the folks that kind of prey on those people that can't qualify to buy a house. They say, well, hey, guess what? You can lease the property. I'll lease the property to you. And then after a couple of years, you can buy it from me, right? There's two problems with that. The first thing is that the anticipation from the landlord is that the client now, or the tenant, is going to stop making their payments because there's a reason why they couldn't qualify for a loan. It's because their credit was bad, right? So they fall prey to that, right? The other part of it is that who knows where the market's going to be in 2 years when they're ready to buy the property, because actually that's usually stipulated in the rent-to-own contracts, right? That's my take, Alonso. That's to answer that question, right? Was there any questions that came in about short sale?
Let me see. I believe there was a couple of questions on short sales. Let me just find them here in all this mess.
Okay. So, Mr. Tanmay, what's your take on lease options?
Well, I think it should be on a case-by-case basis. I think that in some situations it might work out to benefit the homeowner, the previous homeowner, or person who's looking to buy that property down the lines, in the future. But it really depends on the situation. If you look at it realistically, the landlord or the owner of the property, they're just riding the market. They get somebody in there to rent their property, they're making their payment, right? And then eventually selling the property at top of the market, preferably, right? And at that point, their mortgage or their debt service is taken care of, right? And then they're able to sell the property for top dollar. It makes it very beneficial for them, right? But on the other hand, if the tenant stops making the payment, the house reverts right back to them, right? They were able to sustain that period of time for ownership and just rent it out to somebody else.
Here's another question regarding.
That's why I say it's kind of maybe I shouldn't call it a scam, right? But everybody should know about that. I mean, I think that I've gotten a lot of questions about lease options, right? So I'm sorry, Alonso, you were saying about
some of the other questions that came in from our listeners is one of them called and said, can I do my own short sale? What's the take on that, Alex?
Oh, man. I wouldn't recommend it. You would need a professional, not necessarily a licensed individual, but a professional. Now, I do believe there is a law in place that says that.
Well, in California, my understanding is you need to be a real estate broker to do a short sale or be under a real estate broker. So,
well, it's actually the negotiations. The negotiations have to be done by a broker, right? And there's a lot to know and a lot to consider. I mean,
so the answer to that question is absolutely no. One can't do their own short sale unless they are.
It's not impossible.
licensed.
It's not impossible. They can do it.
Okay.
I don't recommend it. Definitely, I don't recommend it. That's definitely not something that I would want to delve into if I was in a different industry or different business. I would leave it to the professionals. And quite frankly, it doesn't cost anything for a homeowner to do a short sale, really. Most of the folks that I've helped with short sale, they left without paying a dime.
And my understanding, there's some banks that give incentives, some moving incentives. Isn't that right?
Relocation
there is
assistance.
There is some banks
Wells
that do
Fargo, I believe, was one of them, and
some of the bigger banks, B of A, Chase. I think, I think they do now. Again, you have to qualify for those things, right? But I don't recommend it. Definitely don't recommend, So let's pay some more bills.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more Real Estate Rant.
This is Anthony Sykes, your host for Sykes Accounting and Consulting radio show, where we help small businesses grow and give you tax tips every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Catch us here on rantradionetwork.com. Thank you.
Saddle up. This is rantradionetwork.com.
This segment's sponsored by Mucho Macho Michelada. Whenever you got to spice up your beer, Mucho Macho Michelada is for you. Only real men.
Did you say mucho macho?
Mucho Macho, baby, where the real men come to drink.
Hey, I don't always drink michelada, but when I do, I drink mucho macho michelada.
If only Arvin could be a little more mucho macho.
Will it put some hair on my chest?
No, but te quema entrando y saliendo.
TheTicketSurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4-199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. TheTicketSurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4-199.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra modern, ultra clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmart, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
We are the Three Guys Rant with Arvin, Mike, and Phil. Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69-THE3GUYS.
It's not the three guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's. The other one's illiterate.
You really should listen in. You never know what's going to happen.
855-69-3-GUYS. G-U-Y-S and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
Welcome to the Monster Marketing Group, your one-stop shop for all your marketing needs. Anything you need to make that marketing and advertising campaign stand out, we're your people. Concept, design, production, social media, anything that you can dream up, we're going to make happen for you. And we can do it in a very quick turnaround. Please give us a call at 888-49-MONSTER.
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
you're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alaniz,
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. Welcome back to Real Estate Rant. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alaniz, and I'm here with Mr. Alonso and Mr. Tan May. Today,
welcome, Tan May.
Thanks, guys.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Today we're talking about short sale and short sale alternatives. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Tan May Mystery with U.S. Residential. Mr. Tan May actually has alternatives to the ones that we talked about today, right? Mr. Tan May, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
We actually are looking at some of the alternatives here, and one of my favorites, Tan May, is the walkaway program. Can you give us a little bit of information on that?
Absolutely. And just to give you a little bit of background of U.S. Residential, we're an investment and property management firm based out of Chicago, and we specialize right now in distressed properties, whether it's a foreclosure or whether it's going into foreclosure or it's upside down, or a property that you're just behind payments on for whatever reason. We specialize in basically partnering up with homeowners to walk away from their investment with money in their pocket, as opposed to not at all and having a ding on their credit for a long time.
So we talked about earlier about sellers pretty much not having to pay anything, but you just mentioned them walking away with some money.
That's right, and not just regular relocation assistance, quote unquote, is what the banks are, the big banks are offering right now, but rather a substantial amount of money from the profit that we make as the real estate investment firm with our buying power. Basic economics say that if you have the ability to buy more from certain people, you're gonna get a better deal. Well, we share that deal with the homeowner because, frankly, they deserve it after probably having gone through hell and back with banks that were supposed to be helping them but are not or did not.
So when you talk about this, Mr. Tamay, are you giving back the property or giving an option for the homeowner to purchase back that property, or how is that working?
We have a very unique program, what we consider to be very unique, and it's called a note purchase program. What it does, and it's a very viable option to foreclosure, to at least explore alternative to foreclosure that's out there. And what we do is what we're in the process of doing is putting together a portfolio of distressed loans, homeowners that are in trouble, from Bank of America, and approaching the bank and buying the note at a discount. And then what we do is we turn around, we offer, if it's a real estate agent who came to us who referred us a deal, we're gonna give that listing back to that agent to list it on the market and sell. Whatever we profit, we give the homeowner up to 20% of whatever we make, and it's something that.
And that's completely legal, right? There's no RESPA violations on that, or
any RESPA issues would be covered in escrow. It's going to be a regular real estate transaction.
Yeah. So just so we understand, there's a step of separation between the homeowner and the agent and U.S. Residential, right?
Exactly.
To where, because most of us understand that if you are doing a short sale, the homeowner cannot profit from that at all. That's typically in their contracts on their approvals when they're going to short sell a property, or they accept the forgiveness of debt, or they forgive the debt, right?
Yeah.
So,
sure. What's unique is that in our case, we take over the position of the lender, so we can write in whatever we want into our contract. If we say where you can share in whatever we make on the deal when we sell the property, then that's totally legal. It's not against any state laws. You can contract that whichever way you want. So no, to answer your question, it's completely.
So it's all completely legal because with all the thing that's going on with the market right now, there's a lot of scams that are popping up left and right.
I'll tell you that one of the most one of the really cool things is that it's completely free to get put into the program. You just have to qualify. The property has to be a minimum of $200,000 for all of our alternatives that we have.
I see.
Alex asked about the walkaway program, and what this is a program that is for the homeowners that have just had it. They've been denied for a loan mod, couldn't get their short sale approved, what have you. They are allowed the opportunity to meet with our foreclosure defense law group, who's very experienced in suing the bank for wrongful foreclosure proceedings.
Now you're mentioning a law group. I mean, is there legal fees involved in that for
Not for the consultation. The consultation is completely free, but what the program does is allows for the homeowner to. There is an initial retainer fee that's paid to the law group. However, after that point, the way the program works is that they move out, and we, with the permission of the homeowner, rent out the property to a tenant, and we use the proceeds from the rent to pay the law group to sue the bank on behalf of the homeowner. The way the strategy works is we use the lawsuit as leverage to purchase the note or somehow acquire the rights to the property from the bank as a settlement to that lawsuit.
And that's where you're acquiring the property at a discounted price, where their commission is built in, and also the cushion is built in to give the 20% to the client back.
Correct. Whatever we sell,
up to 20%.
Up to 20%. The condition of the property is such that it's got to be broom clean. That's that all we have to go in there and do is sweep. But it's a great program because then the homeowner, their worst case scenario is they're already moved out in case anything, should go wrong with regard to a foreclosure. That's their worst case scenario. The best case scenario is they walk away with a profit, of up to 20% of whatever we make. So if we make, conservatively, if we make $100,000 on that deal, they're going to walk away with $20,000.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
This particularly wouldn't fit into a short sale, would it, Alex? Because one of the criteria.
It's a settlement.
Is
it's a settlement. I mean, that's the way I understand it. The attorney comes in, they file a lawsuit against the bank. It's on the behalf of the homeowner.
Exactly.
Right?
The homeowner is the plaintiff in the lawsuit.
So then the house can't be as a short sale listing. We can't list it as a short sale. I guess what my question is.
Actually, it would be off the market at that point.
So it would be off the market, and it's totally it's like a last resort where the house didn't sell as a short sale.
It could be either a first resort or a last resort, depending on the homeowner that you come across. And how motivated they are, because it's a lawsuit. It's not a joke. It takes a lot of commitment, and it's not for everybody. There might be some people who it doesn't fit with, but we have other programs for them as well.
No, I'm seeing something here too that's interesting to me. It says that you can remove the mortgage from the credit report. That's important.
Yeah, no, that's a huge part of part of what we try to make of the settlement agreement is that whatever negative credit reporting there was on the credit bureaus, that be taken off with regard to that mortgage, so that you can
that in turn will facilitate the homeowner to get back into the market for another home, which is their primary.
So let me understand. You put it in the settlement where the homeowner this is no longer going to be on their credit, regardless of the fact that there was a lawsuit. And that goes into the settlement, And that's an agreement between the bank.
We tried. I just want to say we tried to make it a part of the agreement.
I see. So it's not a guarantee.
So definitely nothing is a guarantee. I think what I used to say is, if anyone guarantees you anything, turn around and run.
Probably a lie.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Probably a lie.
So if you have a question for Mr. Tanmay, give us a call at 855-693-4897. That's 855-693-4897. Mr. Tanmay, there's another program that I'm seeing here on some of the materials that you gave us, where the homeowner can stay in the home after the note purchase.
That's the owner-occupied program, Alex? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure. Is that what that is?
No. So with the note purchase program, there's actually two outcomes. One is for the seller who wants to walk away and with money in their pocket. What you're talking about is another outcome to that to that program, and essentially what it gives the homeowner the opportunity to do is get their loan back down to where it matches the value of the property.
Yeah, so they get a new appraisal. They're actually buying it at the current interest rate.
They would not be buying it. They would be actually securing a loan to finance us out of the transaction.
Is it like a lease
it's
option?
Still a purchase. I mean,
in a
maybe
way.
Let's not mince words, right? I don't want to play semantics with you, but ultimately, yeah, it's a purchase. I mean, they're repurchasing the home.
It's a refinance
because it's not in their name. It's out of their name now, and they're buying it back from the entity of U.S. Residential. Right?
Well, no, because what we do is we buy the note. We haven't necessarily transacted a real estate transaction.
Well, there's no money transfer.
So there's no money transfer. Well, there's money transferred from us to the bank. So
I see. So there's a money transfer.
So yeah.
Okay.
But the program is free. So if what you need to do if you're a homeowner and you want to exercise that option is go out and get a loan for the fair market value of the property.
Got it.
And then you can stay in your home, and it's an alternative we're working on.
So these are alternatives to short sale, like we discussed before. Home protection program, is that?
Now that is a sister company. It's our sister law group's program. What it does is allow for the homeowner who is dead set on staying in their home to have an opportunity to sue the bank and stay in there, and have their loan terms reduced, to what they can afford. It's for people who can actually do it. It takes a long, hard road to get a successful outcome in that program.
Right on, Mr. Tanmay. We will be back shortly after our break.
Great.
You got to pay the bill, like my friend. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Real Estate Rant.
Rant Radio Network.
TheTicketSurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. TheTicketSurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4199.
Welcome to the Monster Marketing Group, your one-stop shop for all your marketing needs. Anything you need to make that marketing and advertising campaign stand out, we're your people. Concepts, design, production, social media, anything that you can dream up, we're going to make happen for you. And we can do it in a very quick turnaround. Please give us a call at 888-49-MONSTER.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on RantRadioNetwork.com.
We are the Three Guys Rant with Arvin, Mike, and Phil. Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69-THE3GUYS.
It's not the three guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's. The other one's illiterate.
You really should listen in. You never know what's going to happen.
855-69-3-GUYS. G-U-Y-S and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
This segment's sponsored by Mucho Macho Michelada. Whenever you got to spice up your beer, Mucho Macho Michelada is for you. Only real men.
Did you say mucho macho?
Mucho Macho, baby, where the real men come to drink.
Hey, I don't always drink michelada, but when I do, I drink mucho macho michelada.
If only Arvin could be a little more mucho macho.
Will it put some hair on my chest?
No, but te quema entrando y saliendo.
Are you watching the game at home? Why? Come watch it at Mambo Grill, the hottest spot in Downey. You'll have good food, drinks, and a great time at a low price. We have the coldest beer in our sports bar, where you can enjoy the game on any of our huge flat screen TVs. And when your home team wins, you get 25% off anything in Mambo Grill. We're on Downey Avenue, 1 block north of Firestone, or visit us on the web. Mambo Grill, love at first bite.
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alaniz,
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. Hello there. Welcome back to Real Estate Rant. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alaniz. I'm here with Mr. Alonso Rodriguez, my broker.
Roll the R's. Roll the
R's. There you
Alex.
go. I have to say that right because I caught some flack on that one before. So, and then Mr. Tanmay Mystery with the U.S. Residential. Actually, our topic today is short sales. We kind of covered briefly about short sale scams, right? And also foreclosure scams that are out there, Tanmay. How do you guys differ from that? I mean, how can you prove to us that this is not just another scam?
Well, we have offices across the country. We have 37 offices, and we're looking to open 80 more. So, during this year. So I don't think that. I hope that speaks for itself. I don't think we'd put ourselves out there that visibly if we weren't legit. We've been in the business for a long time. So, give us a chance to work with you, and we'll show you we're not a scam by no means.
There are a lot of contracts involved.
There are.
In signing up with you guys. I saw some of them. I'm currently going through some transactions with you as residential. At no point did I ever think it was a scam.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Well, but the other part of it was I had the opportunity to read all the contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's important to us.
Us as real estate agents, it's important that we read the contracts because I'll be honest with you, a lot of the agents that are out there don't bother with it.
Right.
Just sign on the dotted line.
And not only that, Alex,
File
a lot
and
of things
smile.
that what's going on with the short sale market is a lot of the short sale flops, what they call. I don't know if you heard that terminology, Alex, or do you know what a short sale flop is?
Flop in terms of selling it to an investor.
Selling it to an investor, and really it's unethical for the buyer because we're not really presenting all offers, And there is real estate agents that are taking advantage of that, The primary thing that we're trying to focus is on giving best service to our client.
We just made a full circle, right? We made a full circle. In terms of what I started talking about, a listing agent taking a listing and then not presenting all of the offers and or information to the seller, and then potentially selling it to an investor, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. So there's an issue there in terms of some of the things that are going on in real estate that I think the listeners should know about, where listing agents are taking advantage. They're not doing their fiduciary responsibility to the sellers of these properties. And, the sellers are in a position where they're kind of at the whim of these agents,
Exactly, Alex. And that's my point. That's my point where I want to come across that's happening very often now in today's market. And how could that be avoided? That's one of our primary concern is, we're dealing with people that are distressed, they're distressed, they're financial hardship, they're at the bottom. And they really don't want to bother and read a contract, So what is the alternative they have? We as the agent are trying to present them the best possible that we can. But what are the, how can I say it in terms, what are we getting them into? You know, with all these new alternatives and solutions that are coming out, which is the right choice?
Well, one of the things a consumer can do, or let's be more specific, a seller of a property, they can actually put in writing with their agent that they want to see all the information. They want to see all the offers. They want to see, you know, the information that's being communicated to the agent. There are forms that the agents can use as well on the buyer side, where they actually have the seller sign those pages to, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but there is a form for buyer's agents. They would have to have the seller sign those pages, and it proves that the seller saw it. Right.
I think one of the biggest red flags on a seller selling is when a real estate agent is trying to avoid of showing them paperwork. You know, that's a first red flag that on my book, you know, when they're trying to not disclose something, and that's where the the seller really has to be aware of that red flag, you know, because like I said, our duty is as a real estate agent is to present all offers and keep our clients well informed of what's going on. So for all the listeners out there that are going through a short sale and having trouble, just make sure when your real estate is trying to cover up something or not showing you something, then it's a big red flag on something's wrong with that.
And we have a phone call on line one. Lucy, welcome to the show.
Yes, hi.
Hi, Lucy.
I'm not sure, but I am wondering. I've been watching you guys, and you guys are answering a lot of the questions that I've been interviewing other agents.
Okay.
And they seem not to know how to answer my question.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm watching you guys, and you've answered everything they cannot answer. Now, my question is, are you guys able to sell my house?
Well, we are licensed agents here in California. Absolutely.
Absolutely. We got several real estate agents that work for our real estate firm, and they're very knowledgeable about when it comes to short sales. So most definitely you can give them a call. Can we give out the phone number on the air, Alex?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Actually, there's an agent in our office. Her name is Amparo Gastelam. She's very well known in the Downey area and Southern California. Her phone number, her direct line is 562-445-7375. And I'll give that to you again. It's 562-445-7375. You can always email us as well. We have an email here at Real Estate Rant. It's realestaterantradio@gmail.com. Okay, so absolutely, we can help you with all of your needs. We consider ourselves to be consultants in real estate. Our objective is to look out for the client's needs.
And one important thing also is that we are a bilingual firm. We do have several agents that speak English and Spanish, so we can help you in any language that we can.
And just to put a plug out for our company, it's actually AGR and Associates here in Downey. Did you have another question, Lucy?
Yes, I'm in Long Beach. Where are you guys at?
We're in Downey, city of Downey.
Oh, okay. Then I'll give you guys a call.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks for calling, Lucy.
Thanks, Lucy.
Okay, well, so we do, even though we do the radio show, we are active in real estate here in Southern California. Back to the topic, we were talking about foreclosure scams and short sale flops, where investors will come in and they would potentially, along with the listing agent, potentially hide information from the seller in terms of offers that come in. And we were talking about the forms that can be used where a seller can, a buyer can sign these forms and have the seller sign them to prove that they saw it, right? The other thing that I wanted to comment on, as we were talking about earlier, is that, doing a short sale isn't easy. And one of the questions,
it's a long process.
It's not recommended. I mean, my short sales are always negotiated by a negotiator. I actually hire somebody to do that for me. Because it's a very long process, very tedious process, definitely shouldn't be free. A lot of individuals out there offering free negotiating, and it's a lot of work.
Yep.
I can't stress enough
Well, that also brings up another question on here on my agenda, where it is on how to avoid a foreclosure scam. And as my concern is, when a company's calling you and asking you for money up front, then it's another red flag that they put up there. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, because nobody likes to work for free. We know that, but I mean, there is some people that take advantage of the situation. You know, they know they know the seller hasn't been making their mortgage payment for a while, so they try to take advantage or kind of corner him into getting them to give them that rent, you know, or redirect whatever the mortgage payment as a rent payment or a consultation fee or whatever it is. So that, in my book, Alex, is kind of has a yin and yang, or
I'll tell you what. Upfront fees, to me, have always been a scam. If somebody's asking you for money up front, I would say thank you very much and walk out the door, because I'll be honest with you, any legitimate business, especially in real estate, that I've heard of. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to anger anybody now. You know, if you do have upfront fees and that's how you work your business and you have a legitimate business, then so be it. But I'm talking about the ones that are doing that aren't legitimate. Obviously.
Well, that's the biggest concern here, is who do you trust, or how is it that one going through this financial difficulty, who is the right choice to make? And it's like trial by error, I want to say, but sometimes that's the ultimate last solution. It's, you know, it's an educated guess.
Right on. So, Mr. Tanmay, there was actually one other program on there. I think it was the foreclosure.
Yeah, there is our owner-occupied program. And this one, similar to the walkaway program, where the homeowner agrees to walk away from the property, allows for a homeowner to stay in the property during the entire case until it's settled. You know, they'll pay basically an amount that's lower than rent that they'd pay for the same type of property, and they're staying in their home for a bit longer. So it works out if you got kids who are in school year.
And at this point, the property is already with U.S. residential, or they're leasing it back. Is that how it works, Mr. Tanmay?
The monthly payments go to pay the portion of the monthly payments go to pay the law group that they retain, U.S. Foreclosure Defense Law Group. U.S. residential, only comes in at the end to purchase the property, or like I said, some means of acquiring the property as a settlement to the case. Then, once we sell the property, the homeowner makes up to 20% of whatever we made on the net.
So in closing, Mr. Tanmay, there are alternatives to short selling your property.
There are a ton of them.
If you're upside down and you're in trouble, you're not making your payments, or you are making your payments, either way. In that situation, Tanmay, if somebody's making their payments, is that something that they can also come to you?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of agents recommend that people stop making their payments in order to get the notice of default.
Mm-hmm. It's called a strategic default, and it's something that's common. But like I always say, every case is different. So it's good to talk to someone before making any decisions. Lots of people really before making any decisions, and we encourage it. So
well, we here at Real Estate Rant definitely recommend U.S. Residential. You can call Mr. Tanmay at this is your number here on the card, right, Tanmay? Yep. 213-321-9994. Again, that's 213-321-9994. Thank you for joining us on Real Estate Rant.
Thanks, guys.
Stick around. Make sure you listen to Mark at Indy at 104 for some independent music.
Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Rant Radio.
Make sure to join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
on the Rant Radio Network, where we talk about solutions to your real estate problems.